Hello boils and ghouls, today is Monday the 17th of October 2016 and this is my author Would You Rather book tag. I got hit by Christy Stratos, so here goes. I've got a series of questions to ask, well I've got a series of questions to answer. Got my pumpkin mug. Question number 1. Would you rather have a male character or a female main character? Straight in, I'm not really... It's kind of a silly question, to be honest. Male characters, female characters, it doesn't really matter. At least I don't think so. It's what connects with me at the time. I've written male characters, I've written female characters, and meanwhile back at the ranch, they're all people. So kind of, barring genitalia, we're all kind of the same. We want the same things, or mostly the same things. Question number 2. Would you rather wake up before dawn every day to write, or stay up until the early morning hours to write? I'd like to stay up late, but the truth is kind of life doesn't work that way, and if I want to get my stuff done, the first and the most important thing of my day is actually my writing. So I get up early before work, and I get a couple of hours in, and if I'm lucky and I've managed to do everything else accordingly, I get another hour, maybe 2 in the evenings. So I can normally get 3 to 4 hours a day of kind of writing time without interruptions, without people banging on doors, and I've got peace and quiet to myself, which means that I'm more productive during that time anyway. Question number 3. Would you rather write a book that is torturous to write but which is very popular, or write a book that is fun to write but which is only known by a small audience? To be honest, I mean, in today's day, with the internet and with the way things are today, that's kind of a non-plus question. I mean, like, if you're writing to be popular and you hate every minute of it, is it really worth being popular? I mean, surely that must kind of really stick in the insides of your brain while you're lying in bed at night. And you know, that said, I mean, if you've got money, and I think Tony Robbins said that it's easier to arrive at your problems in a limo. So I'd like to arrive in a limo. So I'm gonna go with torture and lots of money, and then you can kind of be as artistic as you like, and people can call you what they like after that. Number 4. Would you rather write a sci-fi story or a fantasy story? I think I naturally would lean towards fantasy because I'm not all that mentally gifted, as you might have put together in the last couple of minutes. I like the idea of sci-fi, I like watching sci-fi, I don't read that much. I think there's this stigma between fantasy and sci-fi. You're either kind of doing this grandiose, epic fantasy, Lord of the Rings, 20,000 volumes of this, and everybody's got 50,000 grandparents and a history that goes on and on and on and on, and I kind of tend to find those things a little more tedious. So I'm a little bit more lowbrow with that kind of thing. Localized, weird fiction, I guess. Spec fiction is probably where I go with that. I'd rather use first person or third person. I think by default I go to third person. I just like the idea that you can kind of have an omnipotent viewpoint and you can experience all things and nothing and be objective. But that said, first person for the right piece is fantastic. So yeah, no, I default third, first, but I've got no qualms with first. 6. Would you rather meet any character of any book or short story in real life for one day, or personally know any author you wish? To be honest, I think I'd probably meet the authors. You could meet, like, everybody would like to meet their heroes or people that they've spent hours and hours of time kind of inside their lives, but what would that discussion be like? I mean, can you imagine meeting Harry Potter in real life and you'd be like the creeper of creepers, the king of creepers? Yeah, I'd rather get to meet kind of Stan Lee, Stephen King, Joe Hill. Neil Gaiman would be amazing. I'd love to pick his brains, I really would. Number 7. Would you rather only be able to write your book in scenes from end to beginning, or only be able to write it in scenes that jump around in the timeline? I jump around. It's very, very seldom. It's mostly kind of short stories and the like, where I can write something kind of beginning to end, and even then I'm kind of skipping forwards and backwards as the mood takes me. It's nice if you can kind of write something in a single draft, and that works better for short pieces, because you kind of know where you're going, you know what you're going to do to get there, and then everything else is just kind of polishing. But in those longer projects, some days you just don't feel like spending with some characters, and other days you can't think of anything better. So it's just kind of, it helps to keep the momentum moving forward, even if it's not sequential. Right. Number 8. Would you rather only be able to write dialogue if you act out the voices, or only be able to write action if you act it out in real life? Well, I'd spend a lot of time not writing if I had to act that all out. The actions anyway, I mean, Kung Fu Grip and 5-finger death punch and all the other stuff. So I'm going to go dialogue, because it just, when it sings, you know it and you can hear it, and action is kind of in everybody's brains. You just kind of prompt with your words. Number 9. Would you rather publish with the most successful publishing house in your genre, but have to wait 2 years to see your book in print, or self-publish with no expense or marketing assistance, but see your book in print within 3 months? I think that's a project by project thing. I mean, no one can tell me, even the self-pub guys, no one would want to not see their book published with one of the big publishing houses. It's just one of those things. I mean, you imagine walking into Waterstones or Barnes and Noble or any of these massive bookstores, and they just have piles and piles of your books standing there, and just the whole feel of it would be amazing. That said, I'm not in this for kind of short-term gain or whatever it is. I'm in this because I want to do it long-term. So I got time. Time is good. Number 10. Would you rather write a goofy story or write a serious story? I do both. I think I'm going to go goofy, because even the serious stuff is painful if there's not at least a smidge of humor in it. It can be really, really tiresome. And there's nothing worse than kind of bland all the time. So, sense of humor, goofiness, I'm pro-goofy. Number 11. Would you rather have an authorial voice that always sounded like the narrator from Planet Earth, or have an authorial voice that always sounds like Captain Kirk? Well, I don't think anyone's going to read many Captain Kirk ones, but I don't think anyone's going to be thrilled with kind of Planet Earth narration either. So, screw it. Captain Kirk it is. Beam me up. Number 12. Would you rather write a story knowing that you will have to kill off the main character eventually, or write a story knowing that everyone the main character is close to you will eventually have to kill off? Everybody around him dying is kind of more interesting, isn't it? You kill off the main character, that's just kind of Game of Thrones. Yeah, everybody around him, more pain, more interesting. Number 13. Would you rather leave your ending somewhat open and bittersweet, or leave your ending on a cliffhanger? I think open and bittersweet. Cliffhangers are cool, and they can be done right, but you can do those between chapters. If you leave it on such a drastic cliffhanger like that, all you do is piss everybody off. I mean, like, that can be nice in the right circumstance, but if it's your constant state of being, it'll make you pull your hair out, as you can see. Right, number 14. Would you rather have your cover art designed by Tim Burton, or have your cover designed by Stan Lee? This one goes out to Christy. I hope you've got your envelope and you're ready. I'm going to go with Tim Burton. Here's the thing. love Stanley, and I probably love Stanley more than is probably healthy for any person. But he's a writer. Tim Burton's an artist and a visual artist. So Tim Burton gets it, and the creep factor is also awesome. So moving on. 15. Would you rather write in many different genres or write in only one genre? Many, no question about it. Not nailed to what I do, and the whole idea is fun. So yeah, why pigeonhole yourself? Number 16. Would you rather... Yes, the 16. Would you rather have all your characters have some physical deformity, or have all your characters have some internal twisted nature? Twisted nature. But yeah, all interesting characters are supposed to be a little twisted in their mind. So yeah, twisted brains. Twisted brains work for me. Right. Number 17. Would you rather have an orphaned main character with good friends, or a main character with a good-sized family and family problems? The orphan thing's really played out. Like, everybody's orphaned these days. So, good-sized family, family problems, everyone can relate to that, and that's like the human condition. That's the universal issue of our times. Oh shit, wife's gonna kill me. On the couch. Damn it. Right, 18. Would you rather write the sex scene or not write the sex scene? I mean, if it fits the story, sex scene's going in, but I got no issues. We're living this to live vicariously through other people, so sex. Whenever there can be sex, there must be sex. Sex is good. Unless you're not into that, in which case, go and eat cake. Number 19. Would you rather write about uncertain dangers and intrigue, or write about direct confrontation and violence? Certain dangers and intrigue is kind of your internal BS. Hey, direct confrontation and violence. We don't see, we're doing this for escape. Nobody's reading because they want internal stuff. Well, actually we are, but not just internal stuff. We want stuff to happen. Happening is good. And the last one is number 20, which is, would you rather have any question put to you by your fans, or have no fans asking you questions? Well, that's like a no question. Of course you'd rather have questions. Well, I mean, it's kind of part of the fun, isn't it? Like, why, yeah. So question me up. The real question is, who the hell would want to hear what I have to say? And yeah. Anyway. So that is the end of the questions. I'll put them in the bottoms. Anyway, my name's Mike Pilgrim. If you want to come and say hi or whatever, you can hit me up on Twitter at Mike Pilgrim. That's MYK Pilgrim. Or you can visit my site at mikepilgrim.com. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Halloween and happy October.